As Dr. Mandy Cohen walks into a room of CDC staffers, it has the feel of a first day of school.
Hi.
Employees assessing the new boss, the boss hoping to get to know her team, an agency that consists of 20,000 staffers around the world. This is the first gathering of what Cohen's calling Meetups with Mandy, a laid-back gathering she hopes to replicate. The internal medicine physician, mother of two, who regularly wears a Hebrew high necklace, meaning life, had early inspiration to get into the medical field. Her mom was a nurse practitioner.
I saw how her work really impacted not just the person she was serving, but their families and then communities.
We joined Cohen in Atlanta at the CDC's headquarters shortly after President Joe Biden chose her as director, replacing Dr. Rochelle Walensky, who recently stepped down. What was it about the CDC that made you say, I want to get back into the public sector?
So when an opportunity to lead an agency whose mission is to protect the health of this nation and frankly the world, it was easy to get to yes. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Mandy Cohen.
Cohen became a household name in North Carolina, leading the state's Department of Health and Human Services during the height of the COVID pandemic. At every turn, Cohen, armed with her graphs and preaching what were known as the 3 W's, spoke to North Carolinians through constant press conferences. She gained respect from both sides of the aisle in this politically purple state.
While we saw trust go down in lots of institutions, we actually saw trust increase in North Carolina. So we measured trust in the Department of Health and Human Services, and we saw that increase.
But being trustful is not something the agency she now heads has recently become known for. A study published in March by Health Affairs found 26% of Americans in a survey last year did not have a lot of trust in the CDC. Do you think, though, there were things that could have been done differently at the CDC?
Folks have been very clear that the CDC did lose trust. There were some early places where the CDC did not perform and execute in the way that they needed to.
The agency was criticized during the Trump administration for becoming political and moving too slow on COVID, while under the Biden administration it was condemned for not communicating clear guidance on COVID. Cohen says she plans to focus on transparency, execution, and building relationships with the public, health leaders, and politicians, Democrat and Republican. In Congress, House Republicans are looking to make significant cuts to the CDC in the budget.
Just like we have a military to protect us here and around the world, we need a CDC that can protect us. We cannot see those cuts and have the national security asset we need here at the CDC.
A threat to national safety could play out this winter. Cohen says she's closely watching the risk of a tripledemic, a mix of the flu, RSV, which the CDC recently approved a vaccine to be administered to people of some ages, and COVID, which Cohen tells us the CDC will likely issue guidance on in September for how often to get vaccinated.
We anticipate that what COVID will become is similar to what we're seeing with flu shots, where it's going to be you get your annual flu shot and you get your annual COVID shot.
Convincing all Americans to get a shot is the challenge.
I'm very worried about folks
not vaccinating their kids.
There's plenty of other things that are hard as parents that we can't do. This is one that we can. Nice to meet you.
In many ways, the job of a government agency head is part policy and part communicator. Cohen is doubling down on the latter, trying to create a camaraderie within a worldwide agency, while aiming to restore trust in medicine and in a place where the goal is about saving lives.